Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to show you something that I did years ago. It actually came out with a book called Flashing Lights. This is a self-published book I did years ago. And years ago, it was really hard to get your own book. And I remember they had, I forgot the site, but there was a website that basically was able to self-publish your books. And of course now everybody has it now. But I finally found it. I'm talking about maybe, wow, this could be like maybe 15 years ago, maybe longer. And I thought about maybe re-releasing this book, publish it through Amazon. But I wanted to go through it. I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I photographed. And this is basically a book called Flashing Lights. This is something that I use Fujichromes. I use a lot of the positive film, which basically are slides. And so here he goes, 2009. Wow, there he goes. Oh, yes, Blurb. Blurb was the site that I worked this on. And this is where basically playing with light, longer time exposure, longer exposure on the camera. I use a Canon AE-1 for many of the shots. Actually, for the whole shots, the whole entire book, I used Canon AE-1. And again, this is playing with lights. And so I just came across, obviously this is the back of my car. I was driving back from Manhattan into Queens. I saw a nice shot. I said, oh, let me see that. Let me take a shot of that. This is a pretty cool shot. As you can see the streets. Looks like a man floating, stick figure man floating. And I was able to do this for many years. And I enjoyed doing it. Of course, you get to the time that, you start to get bored or whatever you want to call it. You start to say, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. But this was a time that I started to do, playing with lights and playing with slide film, Fujichrome. I could get more detailed later on some of my YouTube videos. If you could look carefully, this is a D train coming through. If I'm correct, this is going through the Williamsburg Bridge. I think right here is the Williamsburg and the D train is going over. Here's a cool shot. You can see the Empire State Building again. This time I was driving into Manhattan. So yeah, these are the pretty cool shots. Yeah, liquor store in Bushwick, in the corner, Bushwick. This was a light. This was actually a hotel, and the lights. It was pretty cool. I love playing with it. Like I said, this is a fire I saw. A lot of these shots, of course, is driving. This is why you get the effect that I was getting. This was on the BQE by Queens Boulevard. There was a fire, and I took the shot. I said, "Oh, this would be pretty cool if I took a time, a longer time exposure." I did a lot of them for like 1 or 2 seconds, sometimes longer, depends. But about that range, I took it. This was on the Bowery. This is also a liquor store on the Bowery in Lower East Side Manhattan, Chinatown. This shot was pretty cool. It always reminded me sort of like a Blade Runner kind of vibe. I really enjoy that sort of like Blade Runner kind of look. Because this was also in the city. You got to see like it was like smoke coming out from under the ground to the manhole. I saw that and I'm like, oh man, this would be a pretty cool shot to take. Yeah, they're really cool shots. This shot, and it's pretty amazing because I took this shot years ago and I could still remember where I took this shot. This was actually almost by Bleecker Street. If I remember, near like was that by that theater, Cherry Lane, somewhere right near there. Going down, I think it was 9th Avenue. Yeah. This right here, this shot was about to get on the highway. I think by the Clearview. Like I said, I have a pretty good memory of a lot of these shots that I've taken. This is under the BQE bridge. I thought it was pretty cool when I developed this, printed it out. It looked like toy cars. And the reason why I also took the photo, because there was these antique cars that were there. Like this car here was like an old, can't really tell you what it was, but this pickup truck was definitely an old antique car next to this like you know, mysterious van, and I said, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe if I could do it in like a little bit of a, you know, 1 or 2 second exposure and see how it would look. This is going through the highway. This was also in the clear view. Like I said, I remember a lot of these shots. This is across the street where I would live. I stayed for the rest of my majority of my life, right on Christie Street. You know how old this is? I can tell this is a meter. This is a parking meter. They no longer have parking meters there, so that's how you know this is. I wouldn't call it a timepiece, but you could say it's dated because of that. And here's the rules or regulations for the parking. And the other side is a 4-sided street, Sarah Roosevelt Park. That's where I lived, across the street on Lower East Side. This was a flower shop, and you could see it if you look at it really carefully. It's a flower shop on 2nd Avenue. I thought it was pretty cool because it had like the cover, so it wouldn't mess up any of the, I don't know what you call it, the flowers, to protect the flowers. And I just thought it was just pretty cool, you know. I haven't never gotten back to this kind of photography in a long time, but yeah, I remember one of my professors, when I was doing this when I was in college, this was up actually in FIT, and I took fashion up there. I loved fashion photography, but he wanted to see some of my work that was just there on my desk, and he looked at it and he thought it was pretty cool. Obviously it's the highway, you can see that. Parking garage, I actually stopped on a red light, and then I said, all right, I'm going to try and experiment this, and just when the light turned green, I was just going to move and see how the motion of this parking lot would be, the entrance parking lot, and drive by, and it definitely gave a good image. So when my professor saw the work, he was like, man, I want you to give your own lecture on how you did these photographs. And I was kind of honored by him telling me this. I was like, oh no, really? He was like, yeah. So I brought in a lot of the prints, because I've had a lot of prints of these photographs, and I brought them in, and I had the slides and prints, and we did I did a lecture on how I did it and where I did it, and it was just a, you know, pretty cool thing. And, you know, just letting people know, you know, a lot of the way the style, why I did it and where I did it, and it was totally opposite because this was fashion, but he wanted me to show a sort of different technique that we weren't in FIT. This is the stuff that we did not do. This is just something that I did in my spare time, but since he saw it, because I had my work on my desk, he wanted me to basically teach, and it was really cool. This obviously you see New York City with some graffiti. Subway line, there's a subway light, old school subway light to go down the stairs. I'm gonna have to say I'm not sure where this is taken. This could have been on Grand Street on Christie, also in Chinatown or East Side. This is a pretty cool shot. I have to say this is one of my favorite shots. This was taken on the Grand Central. I was parked there in the middle of the highway. I'm pretty sure there's a gas station. I think there's still a gas station, and I was parked there. I don't know if I was getting gas or something, I forgot, but I saw how the reflection of the signs, and I'm like, oh man, this would be pretty cool. So I took kind of like a cool shot there, you know. This one was pretty cool. Thought it was also a pretty nice shot. If I do recall, I think this is on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. When you go enter into the BQE. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. This one was also an interesting shot. This is also just driving by, a lot of lights and just everywhere, and it just came out sort of pretty cool, you know. A lot of these photographs, you know, you just go with it. You might be lucky by getting the image. A lot of times I felt like, you know, it was a different image, you know, because you couldn't take photographs of one person, and a lot of photographs could be alike, but these photographs are one of a kind because of how you play with the, you know, the exposure and everything. This is actually in the corner of Forsyth and Delancey Street, a block away from where I was living in my apartment. And there was a church, and you can see the cross. So it's pretty cool. And then we have, again, going to the Williamsburg Bridge. It's a pretty cool image. You can see me going to Manhattan. And here is, of course, New York City, you know, taxis. You have all the taxis and stuff like that. You can see actually the taxi ID number in the top. That was pretty cool too. This is going through the Midtown Tunnel. When we go through the Midtown Tunnel, I was like, oh man, this is, you know, I've never taken experimental light exposure in the Midtown Tunnel. Another shot of New York City driving. Here's another one. This is actually the cover. I really like it. I use this a lot. It's just really cool. Driving in the highway here. And you know what? Now that proves my point of that other photograph that I said I was either parked in the middle of the gas station. This is the same day, and I took on the opposite side. So that was pretty cool. And this is the last one. This is actually a gate where I worked. The job had the gate, and there was a light. I forgot there was like this light over there on one of the gates, and it just moved and just took the photo, and that's how it came out. And that was the end of the book. Yeah, and then I like to I'm gonna print one photograph from here, and probably a couple of these guys so you guys can show. I'm gonna probably print this photograph. This photograph is Mr. Softee. You won't even believe it, but this is actually Mr. Softee driving by at night. And me hearing the music, I turned around. I said, oh my God, let me just take this photo of Mr. Softee passing by. And he kind of drove pretty quickly, you know. And boom, I snapped the photograph. And this is what Mr. Softee looks like driving by fast in New York City. I'm going to actually print this. Yeah, I got this Canon portable printer. I'm going to show you guys by printing that one photograph. This is a pretty cool. If you guys ever thought about getting a portable printer, I think this would be the one. This is what you should definitely get. So here it goes. Let me plug it in. Okay, we turn the power on. This comes with like a sliding cartridge where you're able to put this inside. Here you gotta open this up. So when you open it up, the photographs come right out, right? And then you have to get the app on your phone. Once you get the app on your phone, and then you can print out. So let me go and look for the photograph. So I found the photograph, and you're going to connect to, here goes the photograph. I'm going to press print. Let's see if it connects. I connected. And here's Mr. Softee is going to be coming out soon. It says preparing, sending image. There it goes. It takes about a good 20 seconds for the photograph to come out, and it goes in like 3 or 4 times if I recall. There it goes, it's the last motion. There we go. There goes my Mr. Softee photograph. And it's actually dry. Let's look in the light. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What do you guys think? This is my Mr. Softee, and I would have to say it came out pretty good. Until next time, guys, I'll be printing another photograph from probably my collection or any of my other photographs that I have. Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and till next time.